Alright, this will be a little quick how I would do a speed bump. May not be the best way or the right way. It's just the way I would do it. I'd make a cylinder like that. I'd rotate it on its side, so 90 degrees. When you rotate, you can hit R, and you can pick a direction to rotate X, Y, or Z, depending on which way you want to rotate it. But I'll pick a direction and hit hold control down, so when it's rotating it clicks 5 degrees at a time. Makes it easier to lock it at 90 degrees, and then scale it. You can use that to rotate and that to scale and that to move, or you can use a hotkey S to scale it, and then I'll pick Y to scale it that direction. Alright, now the next thing, scale it a little wider. Next thing I'll do is go into a side view like this. I'll go to edit mode, and right here, vertex select. I'll select these top ones. Oh, turn on this right here where you see toggle X-ray. That'll allow you to pick everything that's behind what you're selecting here in the front. So like I pick that, it'll pick all that, or that in the back. If that's off, it won't do that. It'll only pick what's right in front of you. So back to this view. Now if you use 3D Studio, you know about a soft knee when you're modeling. Well, this version, Blender's answer to soft knee is called proportional editing. Same thing, but you just select it, and like the way Max works, instead of you setting a value like in Max, you just, once you start to move something, you'll get this circle, which is the area of influence. For you just hit page up and page down to change that area of influence. So that's how that works. So for the speed bump, we'll kind of make the top of it kind of like one of these shapes here, where it's not a perfect circle, but something kind of like that maybe. And then since this is the ground here, this red line, then we can do something with the bottom too and make this something, a different shape. Then you can just flip it around if you want to have two different kind. So I'm just gonna make it more of a hump, and the top maybe I don't know, that ain't really much different than how it was, but it's a little different than the top. It's something different. So depending on which way you're looking at it, whether it's flipped around or that way, you know. So next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to quickly just put a texture on it. I'll go back in the object mode. I'll pick it. Oh yeah, don't forget, hit shade smooth so it shades it smoothly. Go over here, pick a material, make a material rather, new. I'm going to call this speed bump with all lowercase 102. That'd be my texture name that I make. Now my base material, I'm gonna pick, I'm gonna click that, I'm gonna hit image texture and go to open, and I'm gonna find a picture, but you can put whatever picture you want. I already made it like a texture for a speed bump a while back. I actually made a video on making a speed bump. I thought I posted it. But anyway, there's, then you hit this up here to see the texture, and you see that it's incorrectly applied to the object, not how we want it. So what we'll do is go to edit mode. With this X-ray turned on, we'll pick this face select. We'll select all the faces, not necessarily the end face. We'll do that last. we'll pick all these, we'll go to UV editing, and they are already unwrapped. So, but you could go to UV unwrap and it'll unwrap it, but that ain't how I want it unwrapped. That's not how I want it. So I'm not going to unwrap it. I'm going to take these. Oh yeah, I know. Once you're here, scroll over, click that to see what you're doing. So while you're over here, you can rotate. You'll see it changing the alignment of that. Now you can use this to rotate, that to scale, that to move, or you can hit a hotkey to move stuff. G, S scales, and if you hit S and then Y, it'll do this. If you hit S and X, it'll scale that way. Same way with G. You can hit G to move and hit Y to only move up and down, or hit X to only move side to side. That can be helpful. And you also can hold shift down while you're moving stuff. It'll give you a finer precision when moving. So this is the base texture, how it will look in the game. Now we just have this end piece here. What I'll do for that, I'll just take this and move it, scale it down a little. So that's the end. Now I'll do that with this end too. Scale it a little, move it. I'll put it in a slightly different place so it's not exactly the same texture. Maybe a little different. Let's see what that looks like unwrapped though. UV unwrap. Alright, now that one did right. That's actually the correct size or shape for that. It was a circle, just a simple circle a minute ago. So yeah, that's more preferred there. So I'll make it more match the size of that texture scaling. And then I'll do this side, which I'll turn. There we go. UV unwrap. And rotate it. This one. It may be possible to line it up with those cracks. It just depends where that's at exactly on here. It looks like it's probably on the bottom. Nah, you know what? I don't know. There's really no telling where it's at. It says it's some. I mean, it's here. It's this end piece. That's what that is, or it's this end. So I won't even bother lining that up. That's just take too long. It probably wouldn't work right anyway, but that's good enough. People aren't going to be looking at that. I very seriously doubt it. Now let's fix the ends of this thing. We'll go back to edit mode. You see this loop cut? I don't know how to just put a loop cut there. So I'm going to put a loop cut, a loop cut, a loop cut, loop cut, and right there at the end where I want it. 1, 2, 3, 4. Alright, now I'll select these faces. My X-ray toggle is on. I'm going to go to a perfect side view. Actually, I'm going to pick vertice. I'm going to pick this. Pick the thing that lets me pick stuff first. Pick this scale, but on scale on the Z-axis, and just kind of pinch the end down like that, and do the same thing on the other end. And an easy way to line that up, you can look at the side view. While it's you already got them selected, you can toggle on the X-ray, or it's already on, I'm sorry. But scale on the Z-axis, you can see where the other one's impression is. You see that black line under the orange line? That's where it's at the other side. So that pretty much gets you exactly like that one. Except it looks like it's dragged out more, or is it just me? Anyway, it don't matter. We will move it some, move it in a little, grab all these, move them in a little, and what this would look like in the level, we'll add a plane just for a second, just to pretend that's the ground. That's what it'll look like on one side, and on the other side that's what it'll look like. Which I knew there'd be a seam because this isn't a tile seamless texture. I would even use that side if it was me, but you can also, there would have been an easy fix for that. I could, well, let me just show you. I might as well do it since I mentioned it. What is that texture called? Crack Speedbump.dds. Okay. File, open. Actually, that's slow doing that. We'll just go to it. No, that's the wrong folder. I don't know about y'all, but I hate navigating to the user folders. I got little shortcuts in here to get me to them quicker. So I think it's this map. Speed bump. HIC speedbump.dds. Oh, that's a different speed bump. And where the hell is that one at? Oh, I'm on the wrong track. Looking in the wrong place. It's not in that map, it's in this map. Yeah, I'll show you how to make at least the top and the bottom connect better anyway. I know I'm not damn blind, I just don't see it. I don't see it in here. Oh, crack speed bump. Shit. No wonder. It's crack speed bump. There it is. Alright, we'll drag it in there, and we won't load maps or automatically decode. We'll uncheck that on the DDS. We'll change the change the canvas size first. Height to 4096. Alright. Copy paste to new layer, and we'll move this. Zoom out. Alright, now we will take the top layer and flip it vertically. And get it to where what I'll do sometimes, I will overlap it some and maybe erase a little bit here and there, which I ain't erasing anything yet. Oh, or maybe no, that is right. Just kind of erase a little bit here and there, just to kind of break that, so it doesn't look like it's such an exact copy of the one above. And you just know what I mean, where it's connecting, so it doesn't have this exact like little perfect mirror look to it, which it still does a little, but now that it's all combined, I can just and see, this will connect perfectly on the top and on the bottom, or it should anyway. So I'll just take a little bit of this with the clone stamp, maybe a little from here, and put a little bit there. And I'll just kind of help break up the stuff that looks like a pattern repeating itself. Oh, wrong thing. I mean, you don't have to do all that. This is just something I'm doing. So there ain't so many exact same things on the bottom as the top. There's a little variety here and there. That's good enough. Now, to recrop this thing, crop it 1:1. But you're gonna lose a little bit, but that's alright. Right there. And then select all this. Image, crop to selection, and we have to rescale the image now to be power of 2. Image, scale image, so 4096 by 4096 scale. Now we'll just overwrite the old file, which I never know that if it's going to use the right compression, so instead I'll just do it this way. Since that's not a transparent map or anything, we'll just say BC1 and generate bitmaps. And if you want a normal map to go with it, like a bump map looking map, just generic normal map. And okay, and then we'll put a slight gauze and blur on it. maybe that'd probably be good. And we'll export this into the folder that we're exporting that speed bump into. And we'll just put underscore normal, and I'll be right back. And this one's compression will be BC5 because it's a normal map. I won't fool with all the other maps, that's good enough. Alright, close this. Alright, let's refix this texture. I should be able to just reopen it. Should put the new one on it. Still is not right. Alright, let me look at the damn UV maps on it. Let's see here. Oh, top view. I don't want them very end pieces. I just want that. Yeah, let's see. I should be able to now perfectly scale it. And it'll get rid of that seam. Yeah, it's a lot better than what it was. Don't really see where they're, except this object's too wide for this map, so I want to scale this object shorter so it doesn't give it the look like the texture is so stretched, but it still looks stretched. To me it does. I mean, it'd really have to be like that to look right. Well, that's my fault for having a texture that isn't wide enough. I really probably should have made this about 8K and had another one on the side, which that's easy to do. But I mean, it all depends on how big you want the speed bump, you know. It's all up to the individual. So we'll just go with this model for now and show you what I do to make sure I got my size of the object like I want it. Oh, got this little helper car here. It's just a car from the game, so I know that's going to be the size of the speed bump, and that's probably about good enough. I don't need to change anything. Now, you don't need the light or the camera. You can name your object if you want to in here. It's up to you. All that matters is what you save it as, not what this is. But The texture is Speedbump 102, so I have to remember that. And I have to add an empty up here in object mode. It is add empty plane axis twice. And name one base 0, 0, and name the other one start 0, 1. And just like you move stuff on your desktop, hold down shift, and that's the only thing you're doing different. Hold down shift and then left click and drag that start into that base, so it's like this, and then do the same thing with the speed bump. And then now go up to object, hit duplicate. You can hit shift D or you can go to it this way, then hit escape right away, and it'll put them both in the same spot. Double click, COLMESH-1 is what you named the copy. Then you export it into the game, into the level that you want to use it in. And the speed, I'm going to call it the name of the texture. So I know it's, if I forget, I don't have to look back. I can just say, oh, well, it's the same thing as the object. Whatever the object calls what the texture is. It makes it easy to remember. I load the level. I will go to a different place this time. Different spot on the map. Well, no, that ain't a good idea. There, it's a dirt. That part of the track's dirt. Which probably ain't gonna. It's not gonna. It don't really matter. But I'll still take it to where there's some asphalt instead. There. And it so happened that it's a similar texture. Not the same one. It's somewhat similar. So hit F11 to get into the editor. And make that texture first by clicking that in Material Editor. If that ain't open, it's here in your window Material Editor. So that was Speedbump 102. Create. And color map is what you're picking, and wherever you exported that model, which I always stick my stuff in the art shapes miscellaneous folder, that's where that texture is, and it was called Crack Speed Bump. I had to look for it a couple times. I should remember it. There it is. Open. In the advanced tab, receive shadows, and in the lighting, anastrophic filtering. The normal map, that was the other one that I exported, but you don't have to have this. I just made it since I was in there. That'll go there, but you don't have to have that. Then hit save, and now you can import the object. Be sure to do it in that order or you'll have a red speed bump with the word no texture on it. Speed bump 102, and there it is. Now just remember too, you gotta go to edit and rebuild collision before you'll actually run into it. And since we made this two different, I didn't fix that on that very end, did I? That's alright. I don't think no one's gonna look that close, but I could have. No, it is fixed. It crunched it down. This is what's not fixed, so I'm not worrying about it. That's fine. You can rotate it around, and that was the other side that I said if you wanted to, you could flip it if you do it different on the bottom. Just remember after you flip it around to edit, rebuild collision again. Alright, we'll bring that bring in a car. I guess it don't make a difference. I'll use that one. I got it behind it. You can pick an object. Something I probably never said. Sometimes when you pick stuff, you won't get the little, just call it a gimbal, or something with the handlebars on it. You won't always get that. Sometimes it's necessary to click something else in your scene tree and then pick it. Anything you make in the scene tree, anything new you add, is going to always be on the bottom. And if I didn't say it already, and when you import that item from the asset browser, go to all models. That's where you're going to find it. It's going to be hard to find when you're clicking through all these things, but in all models you'll see it. But once you have it, if you got your little handlebars, you can hold shift and you can drag to make like a clone of it, you know, if you want to do that. You also have the option up here when you rotate stuff to lock it however many degrees each time you rotate. Like 45 degrees rotate makes it easier to rotate something, you know, when you're just flipping something over, depending on what you're doing. So, you know, you can have several variations of something by just making copies and moving them to different points in the map. Like not in the ground, I meant to say. I could swear I already made this video. I was almost like 99% sure I've made it already. But I didn't see it. You can pick multiple things, holding shift down, and make multiple copies of something. That can be helpful. You know, especially when you got a lot of stuff you want to make. My road is crooked. I was thinking my speed bumps are wrong, but no, it's the road that's wrong. It's not the speed bumps, it's the road. For whatever reason, the other end's off. But just ignore it. I'll just rotate these just to, I'll turn this lock off, that way I can precisely rotate like that. That's a little better. Oh, I guess I should also fix the road, make it flat. A little better. Maybe make the road a little wider. 14. There we go. Pick them all. Make some more copies. road's just crooked, that's all it is. Right, and then remember, edit, do dual collision. You run into it. That's how I would make one, but you can make them other ways. Simplest way would be to just use the terrain editor under a decal. Let's try. I hate these kind though. They look tacky to me. They don't look like it. They look like someone just put a carpet over a hump. That's what it looks like. I mean, I think it just looks crappy. I mean, I've seen other maps where they're like, you know, an infinite hole into the bottom of the earth, and it looks like carpet, like just over a hole in the floor. But that is a quick way to do it, though. You can do that. You just raise up an area and lower an area, and I mean, you could do that too if you wanted. Make a speed bump, the crude one. Maybe other ways to do it, I don't know. But anyway, I'm gonna pack these into a zip file, and I'll put it on OneDrive, this model. All you'd have to do is make the texture before you import it in, where you extract the zip, Speedbump 102. You just import it into, you just make the texture and then import in the model from the asset browser. That's it for this.